So I remember very specifically Father Malay when I took John, my final, I think it was my penultimate semester in seminary. When we got to this is John chapter 3, and we spent a lot of time discussing, like, is Jesus baptizing people? Or is he just with his disciples who are baptizing in the spirit of John? I don't know. And Father Malay didn't know. It's ambiguous in the Greek. We can't discern exactly what's going on in this section of John. What's so interesting is that sometimes people will read sections of the gospel or the Bible in general, just like this, sections that are ambiguous, and it's difficult to discern exactly what's happening in the story. People will be adamant that they know the truth, that my interpretation, Jesus was baptizing. That's what it says. I know the Greek. Jesus would never baptize. That wouldn't make any sense. Jesus has to wait till after the resurrection for baptism to become blah, 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 blah. It makes me think about what we heard in our first reading. Not all sin is deadly. All sin is wrongdoing, but not all sin is deadly. It makes me think of another story that I have. I have many stories. Being so young, it's very interesting. When I was working in D.C., one of my teammates, Tiffany, she was a devout Protestant. And her and I got into a debate about mortal and venial sin. Protestants don't believe in that. And she's adamant. She's like, no, God views all sin the same. All sin deserves the same punishment. I'm like, all sin might deserve the same punishment. But have you ever read 1 John? Because it's explicit. He says not all sin is deadly. He clearly distinguishes between two types of sins. Why does that make me think about the people who are adamant? Well, because it's pride. Guys, I'm an actual theologian. Like, I got the degrees and everything. A true expert in a field knows when they don't know the answer and has the humility to say, I don't know. That is true in the moral life in the same way as it is true in scriptural interpretation. Life is really complicated. We all believe that there's a ton of sin in the world. But I know each and every one of us from time to time struggles with the idea, is this a sin or is this not a sin? Is this a mortal sin or just a venial sin? I don't know how many times I've had that conversation in confession. That's a good conversation. But it also shows me that all of us are struggling in this idea. We want to know, am I on the right path? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing and avoiding what I'm supposed to avoid? The key is humility. Because a prideful person would never admit that they were wrong. In the same way that they would look at this scripture and come to a firm conclusion as to what Jesus was doing. They would come to a firm conclusion. Oh, that's not a deadly sin. Certainly not. I would never do wrong. I am a good person. What we need, brothers and sisters, is the humility to say, I might be wrong. I might be doing something that I need to confess. I might have been doing something for decades. I might have done something fundamental to the way I set up my life. And it was wrong. Because if we have humility, brothers and sisters, no sin is deadly. Because we have the grace of forgiveness, the mercy of the Lord. And so, no matter how our conscience grows and changes over the years, no matter how prideful we may have been in our youth, no matter how many mistakes that we've made in ignorance, so long as we are willing to confess them, so long as we're willing to turn to the Lord and say, I didn't know any better before, but I know better now, and I'm sorry. Salvation is guaranteed. Because that's the type of person who goes to heaven. Not a good person, necessarily. You will be made good to enter heaven. Not a perfect person, necessarily. You will be made perfect so that you can enter into heaven. But a humble person. For when we stand before our judge, he's going to point out all the wrongdoing we have done. But none of it will be deadly, so long as we have the humility to say, Lord, I was wrong. I'm sorry. Forgive me.